Hey, welcome. So glad you're here with me. We're going to kick off a series of videos over the holiday seasons to just work through any sort of little energy hiccups we might have going on. Holidays can be triggering to almost everybody in some shape or form. And some of those reasons are for things that have just come up in our life. Some of them are from a long time ago. Some of them are from just habits that have developed, things that happen to us, ideas we see. We look at the world and sometimes we reflect back on what that should mean for us. And the first thing to know is this is normal. This is normal. And that you can let yourself off the hook if you're feeling an extra layer of guilt. And so one of the best things we can do to start off is kind of ask ourselves, are we just upset about, one thing, or then is there an additional layer of guilt on top of that? The Buddhists have a really nice metaphorical story about two arrows. I won't go into it, but the idea is that whatever happens is the first arrow, whatever happens in your life. And there's very little pain derived from the first arrow. It kind of happens, it is what it is. But the second arrow is where all of the pain comes from. It's the thinking about what happened, the lamenting about what happened, the regretting, the thinking that we don't have any other choices, the suffering, the guilt, right? So all of those things happen separately, apart from whatever is going on that is bothering you. And so one of the first things we can do is try to lessen that second arrow a little bit by letting ourselves off the hook. Whatever we are experiencing is okay. Whatever we are experiencing is changeable. And everything is going to be fine. And you are going to feel so much better after completing this series of videos through this season. So I invite you to take a deep breath with me and just relax a minute. This can also be the season to treating yourself a little bit better all the time. And so even right now, I don't know where you're sitting or if you're standing or laying down, but I invite you to just check in and see if you can get a little cozier. Maybe you need to adjust your chair. Maybe you want to lay down or sit up. Maybe you need a blanket or a pillow or socks or tea or coffee or a snack or your doggy or whatever it is. Whatever it is, check in. Can you get even just 5% cozier? We're going to start off today with a guided meditation for generally the holiday season. And then in the following videos, we'll get even more specific. So I am going to close my eyes. I invite you to if you'd like to. You get to choose. And you can always take whatever I'm suggesting or leave whatever I'm suggesting. If I suggest something you just don't like, then you can let it pass on. If I suggest breathing in a way that you don't like, skip it. So this is all just an invitation for you to take what feels good and enjoy that. So as I close my eyes, I'll take several deep breaths. I invite you to get comfortable and maybe even raise the side of the lips a little bit into a slight smile as you breathe. We learn with law of attraction that however we are feeling right now, whether it is based in truth, it most of the time is based in truth, based in history, based on what just happened. But whatever we are feeling is an emotion and is an energy. And that with law of attraction, we know that like energy attracts like energy. And so we often come into a conflict like a chicken or an egg thing, right? Something happened and then we feel a certain way about it. But in the feeling a certain way of it, in reacting to something that happened emotionally and staying there, we now are emanating an energy that is manifesting or attracting more things to make us feel however we are feeling. So it's a chicken or an egg thing because our feelings are manifesting what's around us, but we're also responding to what's around us. And so if we'd like to use law of attraction, we have to break the cycle. We have to buck the current. We have to make a transition from preferring to be right about the details of something that doesn't feel good into preferring to feel good. Whatever is coming up for you this holiday season, likely you have a lot of data points on why it is the correct way to feel or why it makes sense that you feel a certain way. What happened last year? What happened 20 years ago? But as we explain why we are feeling a certain way and why we get the holiday blues or why we are feeling however we're feeling, we are staying in that energy, even if we don't want to be there. And then everything around us forms and molds to fit that energy. Things that could be really nice are not very nice because those things must match us. And so they either transform into something we don't like to match our energy, which is a reflection of our thoughts about it, about not liking something, not enjoying something, being annoyed with something or somebody, or not liking the idea of something. And so even though those ideas and opinions are true, they have a lot of power behind them to turn things that could be nice into not so nice. They also have the power to suck in things that really are not nice, inherently not nice. And it has the power then to detract things that are very nice. So I will invite you to think about what might not be just perfect this holiday season. And invite you to realize that as long as our focus is pointed towards that, as long as our flashlight is shining on the thing we don't want, it is really, really hard to escape the energy of what we don't want. And in the effort to be as clear as possible here, the practice of using law of attraction to help with this is the process of completely putting our head in the sand on things that bother us. Because in our looking at them, we activate them and we cannot not feel them. And you might say, well, that's really hard. I can't do it. And then as you say, I can't do it, you're manifesting the inability to do it. So I invite you to adopt language like, it's time to change how I think about things. I'd like to try to look at this differently. It would be nice to just ignore some aspect or somebody. It would be nice to anchor myself looking in a direction of something I want to see. It would be nice to break this cycle. It would be nice to start thinking about things I would like to see. And putting my hand in the sand over everything else I don't want to see. Because as long as I look at things I don't like, my energy and emotions won't be as good as they could. And I will activate that thing, which means I then will experience that thing and attract more things similar to it, collecting more data points that that perspective is indeed the correct perspective. when really all that is happening is law of attraction, creating momentums over things that have had a lot of attention. So now that we see that this is what is going on, let's relax a little. Let's wiggle out of that energy. Let's wiggle into an energy, a new possibility. So let's take a few more deep breaths. I am ready for a change. I would like to enjoy the season more. I would like to be light. I would like to smile. I would like to laugh. I'd like to laugh at things that usually bother me, or I'd like to not look at things that usually bother me. I'd like to find new things to enjoy. And I would like to try to enjoy those new things more than not enjoying other things. I'd like to sit down with a pen and paper and list out what could I possibly enjoy? What could I enjoy? Let me ask the universe, what could make things better? How could it be better? How could I enjoy this? What does taking care of me look like? How can I relax more? How can I breathe more deeply? As we relax and breathe more deeply, we reduce resistance to things we don't like. And as that resistance fades, our natural ability to enjoy starts to thrive. This year I'm going to practice. This year I'm going to take a couple weeks over the holiday season. I'm going to proactively listen to my videos. I am going to look for reasons to love. I'm going to look for reasons to laugh. I'm going to ignore everything else, even if it's true. I'm going to ignore it because it's not welcome in my space. I'm going to practice feeling good. I'm going to practice feeling chill. I'm going to practice sending love. And I'd like to do this as much as I can. Because I know as I do this, I deprive my problems of oxygen and they will fizzle out as I intentionally practice looking for things I really like and enjoying and loving. So I'm going to simplify everything this holiday season, and I'm just going to practice this one thing. Depriving the things I don't like of oxygen and looking for reasons to love and reasons to laugh and reasons to smile and have a good time. I'd like to let myself off the hook for being so perfect and getting this right. I want to let myself off the hook for even having to enjoy everything and being so positive. I would like to just let myself off the hook for everything. For what I used to do, for what I want to do and I'm not doing. Let myself off the hook. I deserve that. I'm also going to let other people off the hook. Let them off the hook for their attitudes, for their habits, for however they do things. Let's just let everybody off the hook. Let's just separate ourselves, let them be them, and just practice on the one thing we have control over, which is, what do I look at? What thoughts do I think? And how do I feel? We're going to simplify things and just look for reasons to love. So I'm going to be silent for a minute or two, and I invite you to breathe deep and think about this and feel what it would feel like to live like that. So I invite you to take a deep breath and open your eyes. Stretch. Good job. You have started the process of wiggling into a new energy this holiday season. So good job. Stay with me. Check your email. The other videos will be shorter than this, and we'll see you around.